So now that you've got all of your signatures marked and the holes poked, you're ready to set it up for binding. So what you're going to do is set it up how I have here. To get it this way, you take your first signature, the one that you wrote the number 1 on, and you're going to put it against the edge of the table. You're going to open it up so that you have half open on the table, so that the middle folio is open all the way and that the folded edge is right against the edge of the table. You're going to line it up so that you have a little piece of tape that sticks down. And what I like to do is actually kind of de-stickify the tape by putting it on my jeans or something to get some lint on there. Can you see? There's lint. And then it doesn't stick to the paper overly much. Once you do that, you're going to then tape each of your binding tapes down, which is in this case is ribbon. Yours might be leather. They might be different material. You're going to tape it down so that each ribbon is lined up with in between the holes that you poked. So if it's not exactly lining up, mine aren't. I'm going to shift mine over a little bit because I had my ribbons taped first. So it's easier to tape down your signature first and then line up your ribbons and tape them to the edge of the table. So this is the top of the table, this is the edge. Once you get it that far, you already have the knot at one end of your string here. I don't know if you can see it. And then you have your needle threaded. You're going to start to sew. In order to do this, you're going to open up the signature and you're going to start from the second hole from the end, the second hole. So when you come in with the needle, you're going to go from the inside of the signature, from the outside in, or sorry, from the inside out. So you're going to start open signature, second hole from the end. So when you come outside of your signature, you're right next to that first ribbon, second hole from the end. If the papers start to separate, you can just hold on to them. And you're going to pull all the way until that little knot that you did at the beginning of your string is up against the inside of the book. That's the first step. The next step is to then go and take your floss, go around the outside of the ribbon, so you can see it's kind of on the outside of the ribbon, and I'm going to go back in through this first hole that I missed. So I'm going to open this up, being careful not to poke a hole through the ribbon, and I can see that I'm not coming straight through my signature there. I don't want to poke any new holes. And you're going to pull it tight. So on the outside of the book, you only should see your stitches on the outside of the ribbon. You should not have any floss around the edge of your book. You should not have any floss ever in between your ribbons. The only time you're going to see your floss this whole time you're sewing is around your ribbon. So that's the first step. The next step is to take this piece that you're sewing with and the piece that you started with, so the tail of it right before the knot, and we're going to tie those together just in a square knot right next to that first hole. So I've made a square knot right there. So basically it's just a big loop on the inside around the outside, and it catches the ribbon. The next step is to take your needle and thread, and you're going to go down to the next hole from the inside of your signature. So the signature is open. Go to the next hole, and when you put the needle through, it should be coming out right next to the ribbon or right next to your leather. You don't want to stab through. If your needle is piercing the ribbon like it's doing right now, back it out and then make sure that it's right next to but not poking through your ribbon or your leather. As you pull through, you need to manage this thread so that it doesn't get into a knot. You're going to also pull it tight only in the direction that you're sewing. So I'm sewing in and out through the spine this direction, this way. So I want to make sure if I have to pull to tighten my stitches, I'm pulling this way to give it a little tug to make sure the stitches are tight. Never pull it backwards or else you'll rip the paper in between. So I'm on the outside of the book. I'm going to go around this ribbon to the next hole. Through both of my folios of the same signature. And you can see the only places where that floss is showing is on the outsides of the ribbon. So I'm going to give it a little tug. I'm going to go to the next hole. I'm going to lift that ribbon up so I can see what I'm doing better. I'm making very careful not to poke through the ribbon. When you get to the end, give it a tug in the direction that you're sewing this way, and then you're going to backtrack one hole. So you're going to go back a hole. So as soon as you get to the end, you just go in and out. When you get to the end hole, you go back to the second to last one from the inside out. So you're always ending on the second to last hole. So you go all the way around that ribbon from the outside. Now you're done sewing your first signature. To add the second signature, you'll see the next video.